I can see this tarp's not that awesome, but I can see the ridge beam is. And I'm happy about that. It'll be a good space. So now I have the official height of the ceiling here in the middle, and not super tall. I can still reach up and touch it, but I'll have to measure it and see exactly what it is to the bottom of that ridge beam. As long as my big brother can stand up and not hit his head there, I'm alright with it. And it'll actually be a little bit taller here, right next to it is, where it is, because that is going to be where the ceiling is. So as long as he doesn't stand dead center, it should be fine. But let's find out how tall that is. And with the floor, I'm going to make the floor a little bit taller than what it is now. So I'll go ahead and wait and measure in the end. But it's definitely over 6 feet. I'm looking at my head, so I'm about 5'7", and my span is about 8 inches, and that seems to be, I don't know, 9 or 10 inches above my head. So no matter how it is, it's over 6 feet, and it's going to be a lot nicer when I put some windows in over there. That won't happen till spring, but it will happen. And having this area enclosed, I've got a little space here to help dry things out from that rain and snow and everything on Christmas Day. But doesn't seem like it's doing much. It's not very big, but even with that, this space right here is comfortable. It's a comfortable temperature, and it's not cold. Like, I can sit here with my jacket and be warm, and I just took my hood off because it's so warm. I don't want to have the hood on, and it may or may not be comfortable without my jacket, but it's definitely not cold. And so that's good. I realize it's going to be an easy to heat area. Alright, well, got all the support for the rafters up, and as you can see, I made these two supports. I made their joinery exactly the same as the ridge beam, and with that you can see that bend in, showing where I wobbled out at the length here. So you can definitely tell that. Get a good view of that. So let's see. Can't tell too much just looking straight up, I guess. You can see it a little bit, but these beams are about 2 feet shorter than this, so that's about a half a foot on either end, and there you can see that. So this one is exactly the same length as the ridge beam, so you can see. There we go. You can kind of get a better idea at that angle. Those are shorter, but wanted to get them up, get going on it while we have a couple of non-snowy days. Now on this end, it's a lot more straight. Still looks like it's leaning toward the south. This is the south. It looks like it's leaning toward the south a little bit, which is something that I could, to make the northern wall look a little bit better, a little less sloped inward. There you can see that real well. But you saw me up there, it's stable, and let's go ahead and go up and take a peek. So we're going up the ladder. This is what we see. And these pieces here, I flush mounted to the outside. And so I screw them in horizontally and at a 45-degree angle. So wherever there's a floor joist or an equal distance between them over there where there isn't one on the end, I put 2 horizontal 3-inch screws, and then I put 1 horizontal and 1 45-degree angle in between. So they're a solid mount there. I mean, that's not going to go anywhere. And that makes the wall up here solid 6 inches thick. Right there, that's going to be supporting the roof. Now these ones, here, my shadow in it this way. I made them to flush mount and then just timber frame together. And so there you can see that one's not quite flush, but you can see on that side, this side's totally flush. Over here you can see it as well. That one's totally flush. And this side is also. And this is the second one I did, as you can see, so that's more flat right there. And that's a solid support. So I have 16 foot here and down here, and 14 foot 2 inch here and there. And that'll be plenty of strength to, you know, those are 2x6 and those are a couple of 2x6 together, making 4x6 laminated with being screwed together. And those are horizontal and 45-degree angle. So that's how those are held together. And that's what's going to support the rafters. And the rafters are going to be made out of these 2x6s that I've been using to hold myself up. And they are sitting over here, being my makeshift balcony right there. And so I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, because I got that one and that one there. And I might be able to use those. One I can for sure, the other I'm not certain about, but we'll see. And that's what I'll do. So I'll spread those evenly across the across these beams, and I'll cut them to sit the flush mount here, 45-degree angle. So first thing I'll do is cut a 45-degree angle in the ends of them, and then I will notch them so that they sit. I'm gonna have to see. Yeah, I'm gonna have to play with the first one because this one's gonna sit flush with the top of that. So if I cut it to be flush there, it's gonna sit here and not on top of it. So I might have to do a 45-degree angle and then chop the tip off so that the top triangle, so that we can raise it a little bit and make it sit on top of this one and on top of that, because I don't want to lose the integrity and just connect it at 4-foot spans. I want to have solid rafters that are going all the way down to there, about 10 foot long. So we'll play around with that and show you what I end up doing. Well, it's lunchtime. That's where we've got so far. And taking a break, having some sandwiches, some mate, and I'm gonna stare at it and think while I eat, because I gotta I'm putting up little caps that are gonna go right on top of here. I'm gonna put a little foam insulation just to fill the gaps that I created, because I hacked that up a little bit at night when I was pulling that angle, like you saw in the previous video, and so it's not perfectly smooth from the ridge down. So I'm gonna take a board and mount it just flush on top of that on each side, and on the underside of that I'm gonna put a little foam filler that I've got that's like an inch square for the full length of it, and that will help to fill those gaps so that there is not air coming in around them. And I'll still do a little frame, internal frame around the edges, just to make sure it'll give a little finish, a little seal. But that's strong and solid, not wobbly the way it is, so it's a lot better. I'm less worried about it now. And then I'll just have to figure out the spacing for the rafters, and I've got to experiment with the one I've got up there. Right there, that board is just about 10 feet long. It's like 9 foot 10.5 inches, something like that. But I'm gonna experiment with that one to get the cuts in the rafters just the way I want them, and then I'll use that as a template for all the rest. And once I get to that point, they should go in pretty quick, but we'll see. That's where I'm at for now. I'm gonna enjoy lunch and then I'll get back at it with you. Now you can see I put those caps up to help flatten things out. And there, both sides there. And on that side, both sides there, front and back. So that's that step, and then next will be the rafters.